International Women's Day means to you?
To me, International Women's Day is really about the celebration of the diversity of women and some of the amazing things that we've achieved while facing gender inequality. It really embodies some of the values of equity and diversity, which I've developed during my time working in tech and also learning from other women in STEM as well. It's really about supporting women in all areas and providing equal opportunities, no matter gender, race, sexuality, or any other characteristics.
For me, it's a celebration of women in different levels of society. It doesn't just professional women, but also women at home, girls, grandmothers. We all contribute to society in different stages of our lives and in different capacities. In the country that I grew up, on the 8th of March, all the women received gifts from flowers from their co-workers, their sons, their fathers, their husbands. So it's a celebration of women, how much they contribute to society.
For me, International Women's Day is a day to express my gratitude to all the women in my life who are representatives of strength, of leadership, and also women in cybersecurity. Because when you see yourself and a person like you being represented, I think it instills a confidence in you. It instills a self-belief in you that you're not alone and you're not the only one. It creates a sense of belongingness, and I think that's beautiful. So I thank all the women who inspire me to work harder and be motivated all the time.
How has technology helped women in cybersecurity? Technology has provided the opportunity to connect and build a stronger relationship with other women within cybersecurity, using a number of platforms to communicate on a more regular basis. Due to our current situation, more people are using these methods of communication, which has enabled women to engage with other women both nationally and internationally.
People help people with cybersecurity, not technology. And so while there are many benefits of technology as being a tool towards cybersecurity, the real reason why women thrive in cybersecurity is because we've had beautiful men and women who enable us to do so. And then we try to lead the next generation, so not only that women and men are included in really important next economy skills, but people from different backgrounds, whether it be cultural, linguistic, and socioeconomic as well. So women is a part of that whole package.
What is the best stereotype in cybersecurity? It would have to be the cool factor. When I tell people I work in IT, they are not as interested until I tell them I work in cybersecurity. I feel this is due to the increase in visibility of this field within IT.
That we're able to solve problems. So I think this is going to sound weird, but I don't know if any of you have seen the British series, The IT Crowd. It couldn't be any stereotypically worse in terms of representing geeks, but I think the beauty of it is that it isn't funny because it's true. It's funny because it's so stretched beyond the people that I know in cybersecurity that it makes it hilarious for me.
What is the worst stereotype in cybersecurity?
The worst stereotype is probably the one that everyone knows, which is a young hacker sitting at their keyboard typing furiously away in the dark. Funnily enough, although I do work in a really highly technical area in cybersecurity, I don't actually do any hacking at all. I actually work as an incident responder, which means that I'm on the other side responding to cyber attacks and battling against these cyber threats. In my opinion, this is a lot more interesting than sitting alone in the dark while typing away at my keyboard.
That is just about coding. Yes, it requires technical knowledge, but there is more to cybersecurity than just that.
I think the worst stereotype in cybersecurity is that we all sit in very dark rooms with the hoodies on and typing madly away on the computers in all sorts of hours. I really don't think it's true. It could be further from the truth, especially in some of my roles where I was working as the awareness officer. And most of it done was communication with people and making sure they understand the dangers of IT. So it could not be further from the truth.
What I really don't like is when I see a program that's geared towards professionals and everybody uses that silly icon in the back with like the hooded person you can't see, anonymous, in our basements. This is not what cybersecurity is about, and I still don't understand why people use that to represent our industry, because nothing could be further from the truth.
Imagination is created from movies, from films, from web series, and in movies and web series, we are represented only as black hat hackers, and black hat hackers are represented are usually people who have a narcissistic and ultra individualism kind of view. But when you are going into the industry as an ethical professional and a person who wants to contribute significantly to the field, people are kind, people are compassionate, people are helpful. And I talk from personal experience because I have witnessed the love and support of people on LinkedIn. I have witnessed the love and support of people in my university as well. And they come out, they help you as much as they can, and they work by lifting each other up and not pushing each other down. And I think that's what a community is all about. Also, I think cybersecurity is a field which calls for a community, because there's no point in no point in your life. It was told to me by a mentor that in no point in your life you will know everything. And when no one knows everything, we all know something and we can contribute something. And that's why we need to lift each other up.
When did you first come across or were told cybersecurity or STEM in general was male dominant? What did you think and how did you feel?
You and I were essentially the only two people that, when we went to uni, had the faintest of, in all our teams, it was just us. There was no, and Jazz, yeah. So that's 3 out of a cohort of 300. There's a huge lack, and I think that continued deficiency in terms of gender equity, I think that's a big deterrent for people our age. I mean, I know it is for me. Like, I struggle to reach out and ask for help because of it, because I mean, while I think that is one of the most important things you can do, and letting people know that you don't know something isn't a bad thing. It's how else are you going to learn? But I think the fact that there's not a lot of women in a lot of the roles prevents the other women from actually progressing as well. Just because you feel like you have to fit in and be one of the guys. And all the guys, well, they're in their big suits and they know everything. I think there's a bit of a deterrent there in those numbers.
In high school, I was surprised that IT wasn't as popular among female students, particularly as it plays such an important role within society. It was disappointing that only a small group of females could see themselves possibly working within the IT industry. I understand that people see IT as heavily technical. However, as it is such an in-demand field, I expected more females to pursue this as a career. It wasn't until I was at uni that I realised how uneven the ratio between the genders was.
Well, the funny thing is that I wasn't necessarily told that cybersecurity would be so male-dominated, or that I would be one of the only girls in the room a lot of the time. But I actually experienced it firsthand. You see, I have just completed my undergraduate degree in IT while also working full-time as an incident responder, which is a very stressful career. It's very much, you're putting out fires every single day, except they're more cyber fires than anything, I guess. So I was often one of the only girls in my university classes, and I was and still am one of the only women in my workplace. At first, I did feel sort of like I didn't fit in, but as I grew older and progressed through my degree and career, I eventually decided to become a stronger woman and use some of those feelings to work towards becoming one of the top professionals in my field. So this is still a goal that I'm working towards, and I hope to prove some of the negative stereotypes about women wrong as I go.
When I went to university in Auckland, I had a class of more than 100 students, and there was only about 3 to 5 girls in the whole of class, and that was early 2000s. So for me, that was an interesting awakening to the lack of female representation in technology and IT world. And back then, it was something that was accepted, unfortunately, that IT was a male-dominated world. But now, I think looking back at it, I find it really sad, and I work really hard at the moment to see more women representation in this industry, to encourage younger girls to consider it as a real career, real choice that they can actually pursue.
Cyber impacts everyone in its own way, shape and form. And I feel one of the biggest barriers with the stereotypes is that we're blockers and we're hard. And from a gender perspective, not every female wants to go into it. Unfortunately, we hear the word bossy or bitchy to describe a lot of women, whereas a male may get assertive for the same thing. So I feel like the education factor is really important with that.
When I entered my first class in the university, I entered in my first class and I was only among the 2 to 3 girls who were there in the class. I had a certain kind of fear that, am I in the wrong space? And I think a lot of girls would have thought that because when you're not represented, when you don't feel a sense of belongingness, you feel that you're in the wrong space. Maybe I'm out of place. But I think gradually I took it as my strength. I said that if I don't have anyone who may represent me as a girl in cybersecurity, maybe I can. Maybe I have the ability to lead that position. And moving further, in 1 year, I recreated the Cybersecurity Association within Western Sydney University, and I'm currently the president of Western Sydney University.
A career highlight of being female in cyber.
I think that I've graduated a lot of really super passionate, talented students who want to make a difference and not just be in cyber because it pays well. I think I've been able to motivate people to give more than they get, because to me, that's the ultimate sign of a leader. Isn't looking for how much money they can make or anything else. It's learning that you get more from giving than you do from receiving. And so if I had a legacy, it would be trying to inspire other people to not think of themselves as much as others.
In my final semester at uni, I was able to participate in the 2019 NSSN Data Hack as part of a team of 4 representing Western Sydney University. The team was specifically made up of 2 males and 2 females, having a diverse skill set amongst the team members. With this mix, we were able to provide the winning solution at this hackathon, and it provided me the opportunity to utilise the different areas of my degree, not just the technical aspects of cybersecurity.
Who inspires you?
Probably one of my greatest inspirations and my favourite researcher in cybersecurity is Dorothy Denning. So she was one of the people who actually worked on one of the earliest models of the intrusion detection system, which are systems capable of monitoring system activity to detect potential cyber intruders. Now, although she did work on this in the 1980s, long before I was born, these ideas continue to evolve into some of the platforms that I use in my work to combat cyber effects. So that's why her research was really influential on me. If I am in need of some more inspiration though, I do like to watch some of her more recent TED Talks on some of the different topics in cybersecurity.
Narelle Wakely as well. She works with AWSN. She does a whole bunch of stuff. She is just an incredible woman. And Sarah Box and seeing everyone and the way that they're, especially women. I champion Sarah and Narelle and a couple of my other colleagues as well. They're just absolutely what I aspire to be, and without them I wouldn't have learnt as much. So I definitely think that if you are starting out in the industry, first things first, just go find that one person that's happy to share everything they know with you and happy to learn and help you grow and give you opportunities, because I think that's really what you need.
Each person I meet, each person I talk to has something new to talk about, or has something, has a skill which I can get to know about, and a certain kind of motivation that actually motivates me to do better. And that's why each person inspires me. There are a lot of friends of mine who may not be so good academically according to the normal and the set point of view that, okay, this is good academically, but they're so good technically. They're so good at things such as piano. They're so good at things such as playing football. And I think that's why you get inspired each day, because each person has a new perspective. Each person has a new point of view of things, and that's why that inspires me, each person.
What is one thing you would tell your teenage self about coming into cyber?
I would explain how broad cybersecurity field is, how it gives opportunities to so many different people and different talents that they can apply in its field and be very successful.
I would have told myself to do some research, see what information you can find out about the cybersecurity industry, and start immersing yourself sooner. Understanding the organizations within the industry and the different opportunities available to become involved in.
I definitely would give myself a really, really long lecture about the value of hard work and perseverance. In particular the latter, as I don't think I could get so far at such a young age without persevering no matter what obstacles I faced. Especially because I was studying my degree full-time while also working full-time in the field that I was studying in. Perseverance was the key to my success and my most important value today. It's pretty much the reason why, even though I was doing so much, I didn't get so burnt out at the end, and I'm still working hard towards it, even now that I've finished my degree. I probably would have also told myself to ignore some of the preconceptions other people may hold about myself. And now because of that, I really pride myself on being able to prove other people wrong when they think I'm not capable of doing something that I set my mind to.
Back yourself and say yes to opportunities when they come up. You're there for a reason. You wouldn't be there if you had absolutely no skill. So show that desire to grow and to learn. And then also I think loyalty is quite important when you're starting out, whether that's loyalty to a mentor or loyalty to a company, because if you find yourself in the right environment, then you don't have that real problem with gender equity and worrying about things like we've had to talk about with contracts. And I know with the environment and the workplace that I'm in, I definitely feel supported. So I haven't had as much experience with that gender disparity, but I think those are my key qualities that anyone in cyber should really possess, especially women. I think backing yourself as a woman is just the main things.
First, you aren't the odd one out. You are the unique one. Second, embrace and love each part of yourself, because there's no one like you. And third, don't be hard on yourself. It's okay. It will all work out.
Well, when I was a teenager, hardly any women studied computer science or math, both in high school and then especially at university. And so I ended up leaving computer science and math at university for a number of reasons. And if I were a woman today, I wouldn't have had to make those same choices because there's much more diversity present. And I probably would have started up in computer science and math. Instead of what I've done is I've ended up there, you know, in my 40s as opposed to starting there. So I don't think I would have changed all that much, to be honest with you. I'm just someone, whenever tells me I can't do something or there's going to be barriers, it just makes me want to do it more. And I just become more perseverant and I keep, you know, striving to achieve excellence. And when someone's really blocking my way or really making a problem, I just sigh, put my shoulders down, put up the blockade, I do a little dance, and I think I'm going to change people's attitudes, and that's not going to be a blockade for me, and it's not going to be a blockade for women to come.
If your career was a movie, what would it be and why? I guess it would be the 51st Dates, because it just seems that my whole career was full of different starts. When I started my career first, I was a software developer. And after that, I moved into quality assurance and then project management, and took some time off to be a mom at some stage. And now moved into a cybersecurity role. So I guess it's always something new. It's not continuous progress, but it's slowly building up in those blocks to where I'm right now. And this is something I want people to know about career in IT, is that there's always something new, there's always new developments, there's always something interesting to pursue. So it's absolutely challenging, but it's absolutely amazing as well.
If my career was a movie, I would clearly be in Star Wars, Princess Leia. I mean, look, I even have the hairdo to go with it. And the reason why that's the case is that I think Princess Leia is brave. I think she has talent. Sometimes people overlook her talent in favor of other characters like Han Solo and Luke. But at the end of the day, she's doing all of the organizing and coordinating of the things while the boys go and take credit for all the shooting down of things that they do. So definitely I'm Princess Leia. Also, I was the first girl in the province of Alberta, Canada, to be asked to play on what's known as the regional rep team on an all-boys hockey team. So it was really quite a groundbreaking thing in the early 70s when feminism was starting to be a thing. And from there, I've just kind of explored whatever I could, whenever I could, in order to do the best path for myself, my family, and my students.